Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm very excited to talk to you all today about, I guess, kind of getting personal, meaning I'm going to just be really honest and candid about some of the challenges I faced when I was first getting into the technology industry and really transitioning from being a model, being in fashion, doing the marketing thing, PR, that kind of industry, to getting into technology, and some of the biggest things that I faced for challenges. And really these challenges, a lot of them are not necessarily, some are specific to technology, but others are really when you go through a big change or a big challenge in your life that many people will face, no matter what industry you're switching from or getting into, or really when you make a big change, sometimes there's just like so many terrifying things that come right at you, and I want to talk to you about some of mine. If you're not already, subscribe, you know what I mean. Subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and ring the bell. Okay, let's get started. Okay, before we dive in, I want to do a disclaimer. Everyone has different challenges and faces different experiences, so I'm just talking on behalf of mine, like Tiffany's experiences. So yours will be different, yours maybe have been different, but I am hoping that sharing mine will help some of you. One of the biggest challenges that I faced when I was transitioning from fashion to technology and coding and getting into that world was imposter syndrome. And I'm sure for many of you this isn't a big surprise, as when you are transitioning over to a different industry, imposter syndrome, especially in the tech industry when you are doing something like coding, is so prevalent. And really when I first started, even though a lot of it was imposter syndrome, I was not good at, my skills were not amazing, of course, I was just starting out. But my imposter syndrome really came and stemmed from, I shouldn't be here. Not that I wasn't good enough, I knew I had a long way to grow to get there, but it was more so, why am I here? Should I be here? Am I going to be accepted? Those thoughts are really coming from inside my head of, am I smart enough? Am I skilled enough? Will I be so slow at this? Am I too old? Even though I was still young, and still am young, I think. But at the time, but when you're going into a new industry or facing a challenge or a change, these thoughts that now looking back make no sense, at the time were just like at the forefront of all I could think about. And it made my day-to-day really hard. It made me, when I woke up, I would eat, sleep, and breathe code, really, especially when I was in my boot camp, because I was like, I need to get good, I need to be the best, I need to figure my stuff out. And that's true to a point. I actually did need to figure my stuff out, but at the same time, it's like, breathe, take a step back, you got this, be patient with yourself. One of the biggest things, actually, now I'm going on a ramble, but one of the best pieces of advice that I've been given is speak to yourself the way you would speak to your best friend. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, I'm definitely not doing that. Sometimes I can be very harsh on myself or very negative towards myself, and then say things to myself about myself that I would never say about anyone else. And really learning to flip that switch and treat yourself with kindness and patience and love that you would give to other people. Doing that internally first before you even give it to other people is essential in order to be able to give it fully to other people. That was my biggest challenge, imposter syndrome, and really learning to give love to myself and give kindness to myself about everything. My second biggest challenge, I would say, is finding time. To be honest, it's not easy finding time to learn a new skill, such as coding, when you're working a full-time job. For me, I was lucky enough that in my boot camp, I graduated university, went to my boot camp, and was able to focus on it solely. Then afterwards, though, I was working a part-time job when I continued after the boot camp to learn code and grow my portfolio, and then kind of start job hunting and finding the time, more so energy, I should say, to continue on learning the skill after you've spent your whole day working. You're tired, you're exhausted, the last thing you want to do is open up your computer and continue on working, especially when you're new at something and it's extremely challenging to start with. And finding the time and energy was a big one for me as well, of a challenge. However, that one was easy to overcome because of my passion and excitement for coding, and I knew it's where I wanted to be. So even when it was late nights or early mornings to continue working on my skills. I knew that I had an end goal in sight, that this wasn't forever, working all these hours, and that really helped navigate through finding the time and energy. The number three thing that was most challenging for me when I was transitioning from fashion to technology was finding a community. Even though there's a huge tech community, when you're entering into something for the first time, you're like this outsider, or so you feel, and finding your people, finding your mentors, finding that kind of community is tough at first. It feels very lonely, and you don't know if you're going to find those people, and you don't know if they exist. Well, you do, but at the time, once again, it's like it doesn't feel like they do. And navigating through meeting different people, going to meetups, different conferences, really putting myself out there as someone who's naturally quite introverted. It was tough to really get out there and meet different people and explore that whole kind of area. And I really navigated through and pushed through to doing that by kind of taking it step by step. So first I would do coffees with people, do just one-on-one coffees, which seemed less intimidating to me because it was already pre-planned, set up. I know they want to meet with me, or they wouldn't have accepted the coffee, and that made it a lot easier. So what I would do is reach out to different people that I looked up to or that I wanted to get to know in the tech community, that especially we're here in Toronto where I live, so I could take them out for coffee. And honestly, 99% of the time, people are so willing to just sit down with you and listen to you and give advice to you about getting into the industry. And that really helped break down the barrier of, okay, I don't know anyone in this industry. How do I navigate that? By just reaching out to people and grabbing coffee. Another area, challenge number 4 that I faced when I first started, when I switched, would be, where do I even start? I feel like there's so many, and I'm still facing some, would be the learning curve, to be honest. For me, learning code as someone who at the time had never touched code prior. I mean, I did a coding course in university, but prior to that had never really touched code or didn't even really know fully what it was about. It was very scary at first getting into that world, and I questioned so many times if it was what I wanted to do, even though in my heart of hearts I knew it was. But sometimes the easiest way out is just by saying, you know, screw this, it isn't what I want to do, it's not for me. And rather than taking the time to explore it more and figure it out and actually get good at it to realize, is this for me or not? Because a lot of times when you're learning something new, of course it's not going to be for you at first. When it's difficult, it's easier just to walk away from it. Those, I would say, are my biggest 4 challenges that I faced when I was switching industries. There are so many more challenges that I know myself and everyone faces that does something like that. But for me, those were my biggest 4. Let me know down below in the comments if you've switched industries, whether it's from a different industry into technology or just 2 different industries completely, and some of the biggest challenges you faced with that. Thank you all for watching my video, and I will see you all soon. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for watching my video. If you want to see more videos, go check out my video, Things I Wish I Knew When I First Started Learning How to Code.